Came second in the Democratic Republic of Congo's presidential election has appealed to the Constitutional Court to annul the provisional result, which awarded victory to his opposition rival Felix Tshisekedi. His lawyer said on Saturday the request seeks the annulment of the result, declaring Felix Tshisekedi president.
Fayulu's camp said on Friday its tally showed he won 62% of votes to Tshisekedi's 19%. His supporters believe authorities rigged the result in a deal to protect members of President Joseph Kabila's outgoing administration and maintain his influence over security forces. Fayulu supporters, the influential Catholic Church has also rejected the official result based on tallies by its Bishops' Conference's 40,000-strong observer mission.
My
lawyers took all the precautions of use and filed the fraud complaint papers yesterday at 15:30. Today there were the formalities of getting the receipt so that I can be absolutely convinced the file has been received, numbered and is in the possession of the Constitutional Court.
France and former colonial power Belgium also expressed doubts. In comments to the UN Security Council via teleconference on Friday, Seni President Corneille Nangaa defended the vote's credibility and attacked the Bishops' Conference Senko. The declared outcome handed victory to Tshisekedi with 38.57% of the vote, with Fayulu coming second with 34.8%. But Fayulu denounced the result as an electoral coup engineered by Kabila in which Tshisekedi was totally complicit, saying the truth of what happened at the ballot box would only come out with a recount.
The demand here is that since the Seni has fabricated the results, you have seen it, the Seni has fabricated the results in order to be sure of the action by the Congolese people, meaning the taking of a ballot and putting it into a ballot box, and of the truth of that action, we must simply recount the votes.
The Constitutional Court now has 8 working days to study the request before giving its ruling, with the new president expected to be sworn in on January 22nd.
The Electoral Commission in the Democratic Republic of Congo says the coalition supporting the outgoing President Joseph Kabila has secured a majority in parliament. It has declared the opposition candidate Felix Tshisekedi the provisional winner of the presidential election. According to the latest figures released by the National Independent Electoral Commission, the governing party's coalition won at least 261 of the DRC's parliament's 500 seats. If this is confirmed by the concourt next week, the incoming president opposition leader Felix Tshisekedi will have to work with the prime minister from the current government. Aime Zonveni is the editor of the Kinshasa Times, and he now joins us on the line for more as the DRC's Martin Fayulu goes to the concourt over election results. Aime, good evening and thank you so much for joining us. Now, Fayulu has filed his court bid challenging the election result. What can you tell us about that?
Well, Fayulu indeed this morning has filed his appeal to the Constitutional Court because he said he was the winner and that he was robbed of his victory. But chances are, in my opinion, pretty slim that he will be granted his appeal as this Constitutional Court, if we go by what is being said, that it is an arrangement between the regime and the Felix Tshisekedi to have some sort of a power-sharing arrangement, I doubt it that the Constitutional Court will grant Martin Fayulu's appeal.
Now, Aime, a word that is very contentious is provisional president of the DRC. Now, with regards to that word being used, are we likely to see changes at a later stage?
Well, basically what will happen is that after the appeal that has been lodged by Fayulu is handled by the court, it is my belief that Felix Tshisekedi will be confirmed as the definitive president and will be inaugurated. But of course, he will have to also deal with a parliament where the majority, as we have known this morning, has put to the presidential camp. So he will have to have some sort of an arrangement with the outgoing regime.
Now, we understand there was a military presence outside Martin Fayulu's residence early this morning. What do you know about that incident?
Well, after he has launched his appeal to the Constitutional Court, which takes both parts of his office, also his hotel, his followers accompanied Martin Fayulu to his hotel, and this is very much close to the presidential palace. And the police say that it will not be very much safe for the people of Martin Fayulu to be demonstrating next to the presidential palace. And that's why they were dispersed a little bit violently.
Now, as we already, you mentioned earlier, the Electoral Commission says that the coalition supporting the outgoing President Joseph Kabila has secured a majority in Parliament. The implications of that for the provisional President Felix Tshisekedi having to work with the current Prime Minister, just give us some details on how that is going to work.
Well, the Constitution stipulated it is the political platform that has a majority in Parliament that will have to pick the Prime Minister. And it so happens that it is the presidential candidate, the presidential candidate, meaning the FPC, that has won the most seats, and therefore will have to pick the Prime Minister and appoint most of the key ministers. But to me, I think this could be the case in the first year of Felix Tshisekedi's presidency. But as we progress further in his presidency, we could see changes with parties from the coalition of President Kabila switching sides, and therefore a new majority in Parliament will emerge, whereby it will be larger and include the UDPS, which is Felix Tshisekedi's political party. So it could change later on.
Now, Aime, very quickly, just in wrapping up, what's the mood like on the ground in the DRC with the people of the Congo dealing and facing with this particular concourt challenge by opposition leader Martin Fayulu and the feeling of the provisional president Felix Tshisekedi having to take over?
Mixed feelings, I must confess, because some people were expecting indeed Fayulu to be elected president, but they were disappointed to see that he wasn't. And on the other hand, people are a bit happy to see that indeed it is the opposition, at least part of the opposition, that will be taking over from President Kabila. And that has resulted into a peaceful atmosphere after the announcement of the results, which it is believed will be maintained as we progress towards the inauguration of whoever will have to be confirmed, and hopefully it will be, I think, Felix Tshisekedi.
Aime, thank you so much for your time. That's Aime Zonveni, editor of the Kinshasa Times, joining us on the line. Now, thousands of yellow vest protesters marched yet again in the streets of Paris on Saturday in a 9th round of demonstrations ahead of a 3-month national debate due to begin on Tuesday aimed at quelling the unrest. The protests have set